It's so good to be back on your favorite rugby-themed digital show. It's In Touch. My name's Elma, in case you've forgotten. I've been away for a while, but thank you so much to Katua and Lala for holding the fort in great style. Today on the show, we're meeting one of the guys with the most mispronounced surname in South African rugby. He's definitely an interesting cat. He's got a bit of a business on the side. We're going to get to know more about Always Look Up. And we're also taking a look inside the Springbok camp. We're getting to know those players a little better. We've got a Japan 101 sushi-making insert coming your way as well. And of course, as usual, you can watch us live on Facebook tonight on SuperSport 1, or if you can't watch the show here on Facebook or tonight on SuperSport 1, the whole one, you'll get it on In Touch all over on YouTube. So who's our guest? That's Courtnall Skosan.
First team coach at the school as well, always also told me, you can make it, you can make it. And I always believed I could make it, but never made the Craven Wheat team. Every year go to trials, never get that last email to say that you've made the final squad, So it's it was heartbreaking sometimes, a little bit disappointing as well. And then after school, there's one coach. I started working hard as well, I was studying and trying to still play the game. My parents told me, maybe you shouldn't be taking rugby too seriously, make sure that you get your degree, get an education behind your name, and then, hopefully go and get a good job. And I obviously still had the dream of making rugby a professional career for myself. And I think when I met the coach, I think the one thing that he told me, the one session when he pulled me aside was, I really do believe you can play professionally. You shouldn't be playing at this club. And it wasn't a thing that he told me to make me arrogant. It was a thing where he was like, listen, I identify something inside of you that I know you're supposed to be playing at a union, and I can't understand why you're not there.
Courtnall Skosan, welcome to In Touch. It's lovely to have you here.
Lovely to be here. Thank you so much for having me.
That's a bit of a throwback. The Road Less Travelled. If you haven't seen The Road Less Travelled, go find it on our YouTube channel. It was done a while ago, and it just kind of gives you a better perspective on Courtnall, the guy beyond the game.
Definitely.
How have you been since then? How's this knee business coming along?
It's getting there. I'm at week 3 now. Maybe another 4 to 5 weeks left and then I'm back. But all in all, life is good, working hard, trying to get back onto the field, obviously, and then working hard on the other stuff on the side as well, trying to push, we have to do it, yeah.
I'm going to ask you about the other stuff because I'm always so impressed by how hard you hustle, not just on the field. The name business, because I keep hearing people mispronouncing your name, and then when I say it right, people think I'm doing it wrong. So can we for once and for all just get this out there? How do you pronounce your surname?
Skosan.
Skosan.
Skosan. Skosan. People say Skosana, Skosan, Skosan, all of this funny stuff. I mean, I always have to take it off the list when I get a tracker for my car. People will pronounce it. I'm speaking to Mr. Skosana because they think I took something away. So it's Skosan. Skosan.
Skosan.
Just to clear the air. Just to clear the air.
All the way from Cape Town. You come from a neighborhood that has quite a track record of producing guys who does what, 1 to 100 in a record time, hey?
Yeah, no, I mean, there's a few guys. Kraaifontein, Brackenfell, Scottsville, all the areas, it's all together there. I mean, we're talking about Cheslin Colby, Wade van Niekerk, I mean, a guy like Dan Patterson playing cricket, there's a few guys, that are actually coming out of that area. Yeah.
But before your generation, you didn't have many idols to look up, in terms of guys who came from there.
We had a A.D. Jacobs. I mean, he came from Scottsville as well,
Okay.
so he was like the local hero.
The local hero.
Guy that we looked up to say, maybe it's possible for us to make it as well. So.
But you must be inspiring a lot of kids from down there in that part of Cape Town now.
You always hope you do, you don't always see the effect of it because I'm not in Cape Town physically, I'm up here, I've been up here for almost 10 years now, so you don't see the effect until you go home, There are a few people that obviously look up to you, inspired by it. And hopefully we'll see a lot more guys coming through from that area because for me, there's so much talent there, really so much talent. I mean, there's amazing guys that are working down here, Craig Barry as well now, working with the guys there in Scottsville as well, with the Be the Difference Foundation as well. So that's amazing work that they're doing down there to just coach the lighties, get them the right diets, get them the information that they need to give them the biggest, opportunity possible for them to push through and maybe become professional sportsmen. So that's really amazing.
I think the thing that many people don't realize with professional sport is the lack of security you have. I mean, you were doing really well. You were mentioning to me that, you know, you might have played a few weeks somewhere else now and you suffered this knee injury, and it does tend to just throw everything out. Is that why you're so constantly busy building that empire on the side? Because you know that this career is so short and so unpredictable.
I think that's the biggest thing about it, you know, it's the unpredictability about it. Like for me, the thing is, you know, when I had my ACL injury last year, in the beginning of last year, that's kind of when my eyes opened more and more. Because I've always hustled, tried to do something, all of that, but never something like where I was like, okay, let me focus my energy there now and try and push this thing as far as I can. So when I had the injury, I was like, you know what, this could have been potentially a career-ending injury, and that's how quick it can happen. Things were going well for me. I just had made Bok, you know, everything. Contract was on the table, everything. I mean, the curve was going up, and all of a sudden you're like, okay, you know, life hits you. And then, so that's why for me, I think it's very important. And I would like to encourage a lot of rugby players to start doing that, because I mean, some guys play only 2 years. You play under 19, under 21, and I think that's going away now as well. You know, so you have maybe 1 year or 2 years to show yourself. You know, and if people don't rate you after that, you're gone. You know? So you have to have something that you work on outside of rugby, something that you're passionate about. You know, I just did an interview recently as well with a guy that has a vision to educate rugby players on how to actually manage their money, you know, and how to actually, you know, start doing stuff outside of just rugby, you know, like, so I think it's very important, and that's why I work so hard at it.
You and your wife have such a good online kind of persona, and you guys are generally so open. Simone, former Mrs. South Africa finalist, she's gorgeous, and she definitely seems to be such a good business partner for you as well. How did you guys meet again?
Well, we met in a club. We don't really like to talk about it that much because we never talked much that night. But after that, obviously, we started clicking. You know, we saw each other again after that. But really, just from the day we started talking, we just clicked. You know, like something just clicked. We didn't know that we were going to be together for the rest of our lives. You know, we didn't know that at the time. But there was just something interesting for her and for me. You know, there was just something interesting about it. And I think because she has so much experience in corporate, you know, and then leaving her job, obviously now when the little one was born and trying to now build our own thing, I think she brings all that knowledge, and I bring kind of like my whatever I think I'm bringing to the table, you know? Whether it's the marketing or stuff like that. I just kind of educate myself. I'm actually a YouTube, you know, like educated person. So I just go and watch videos on YouTube, how to edit, how to do this, how to build a website, how to do a Shopify thing, anything you can think of. There's so much resources out there. So I use all of that kind of stuff to just educate myself on it. And we're matching.
I have so much respect for that. And we're going to take a look at that shortly. But if Simone was here right now and I asked her about you, what would she say?
Yes, she would say, he's very humble, loving, caring, and he makes sure that he puts food on the table and he provides for our family the best he can.
And the non-complimentary stuff?
She'll say I'm a bit of a baby when I'm injured, you know, like. And there's a few other things she would say with that as well, we'll probably share a little bit later.
Oh, the man patient is just something to behold. I love that Courtnall lifts the lid a bit on what happens behind the scenes in professional rugby. If you haven't seen it yet, take a look at this. It's so good seeing your teammates just messing around a bit, hey?
I think for me, that's the fun part, you know, that's the stuff I would like to get out to the people because it's so cool. People don't see that side of the stuff, you know, so I really believe that it's cool, and I like to show people more and more of that stuff.
It's so cool to see the characters behind the scene, because we often only hear you guys in press conferences saying all the same old in the post-match interview. Who is the character in the line setup that we don't know about? Who's the most hidden fun one?
I think Dylan Smith, the scrummer.
Really?
I don't think a lot of people know him that well, but he's really a character. He's really a character. If you get to know him and you get him in his comfort zone, then you will get to see a lot more.
There is a video on Courtnall Skosan's YouTube channel, which you need to go look for, of his teammates dancing in the road on the way. Was it after training or before training?
I think it was after training.
After training. Yes. And that was Dylan in fine form, right?
That's a little bit of
There's a tiny bit of Dylan in there.
Of Dylan, yeah. That's a preview. That's not even the whole show. You'll see a lot more. It's
very impressive. So now you are not with the box at the moment. Just look at this knee. And it's unfortunate. What is it like watching that whole machine But I mean, you're not only watching it from the outside, you've got a few friends in there. What are they saying?
No, it seems like things are good, you know, spirits are high, the guys are enjoying each other from what I can get, you know. Like
From what you're picking up?
From what I'm picking up, they're enjoying each other. So, I mean, we'll see this weekend now what happens on the field, you know, because that's obviously where it counts. That's the most important. But I'm looking forward to it for them. It's a really exciting time for them, a few new faces as well. So really, I think they're in good spirits and they can definitely get good results as well.
Favorite new face in the mix there for you?
I think the surprise for me was Elstad, and I think he's been performing, he's been playing very well, you know, overseas, and I think it's well deserved to get an opportunity to go out there and do his thing. And then Herschel Yankees, blowout season, he's been doing well, amazingly well this season. I'm very happy for him. He can just go out there and do his thing, you know, and he'll do very well.
Lots of fan love over here for Herschel Yankees. Let's take a look at what the guys in the Bok camp are saying. When they launched that Stronger Together video, which I'm sure you've seen by now and had a bit of goosebumps, we were out there at the launch and just asked them a few questions, just a few serious ones.
There's quite a few, I'd say.
Prankster.
I would say RG Snowman or Scott Brits.
Probably Damien Delindi.
RG, oh my gosh. RG and Faf. And weirdly enough, they've got the same hair, you know.
I'm leaning more towards Faf because he causes the most trouble there. I think he's got a little small man syndrome, I don't know.
Oh, there's a few of them. I'll probably say Skulk Brits, definitely.
Faf definitely is one of them. Franz Steyn is probably another one of them.
Alton would definitely do that.
Yeah, I would say also RG and Skull. I don't want to say what kind of stuff they're going to do. They'll probably do disgusting things with my phone, but yeah, it's all fun and games, which is good.
No, you could ruin my marriage if you want to. Fussiest eater. Oh, hands down Jesse Krill. You don't look like Jesse Krill by just eating anything, so.
I am.
So I don't even know. Yeah, I think I would say Jesse Krill. He's a guy that really looks after his body. He's in fantastic shape, and now it's maybe a shape I can only dream of.
Lucanio, and the worst thing, he never wants to have it alone. So he'll always be like, AP, do you want a slice of cake?
Ooh, might be me. I know Kitsi likes a little dessert as well every now and then.
I'd probably say all the forwards, eh? Probably all the forwards, especially the front row. They always have a nice snack there next to their bed.
Oh yes, definitely me. I love sweets. I love mostly jellies, but yeah, it's either me or some of the props that also got something. Yeah. I'd probably go with Andre Estes, and he's big and he's tough, but I think his heart is a little bit soft.
Cried in a movie? I haven't seen anyone yet.
I would say Andre Pollard, RG Snowman. Not just in a movie, but I've seen them just saying goodbye to people, and they'll be crying hours or after that whole thing has passed.
RG Snowman, definitely. Biggest guy I know with the smallest heart, for sure.
The one I know is Wilco Low, but I think there might be one or two different guys in the team. Luckily, I haven't stayed with them because no one really wants to stay with me. I don't know why.
But it's not Wilco Low, definitely. I just go sleep in the passage or in the bath most of the time.
Andre Pollard, definitely. So yeah, I actually have roomed with him, and he's pretty bad. He's pretty bad, I promise you.
Because he's my roommate, I have to say Alton.
I would say 1 to 39. Yeah, the whole squad. Probably the whole side, to be honest.
Everyone. All of them.
I'll pick every single guy.
Every single guy. Courtnall was nodding profusely at a few of those answers.
Definitely.
What do you agree with the most of all the things?
Faf.
Faf being
He's
trouble.
special. He's special. Eh?
Bad news.
Special, very special. Cool guy, but very special. He's a lot of fun. A lot of fun. Or you can look at it the other way. Yeah. He's besig.
So what is it that people don't know? Because I've been around the environment. I've covered a lot of Springbok kind of weeks in camp doing stories for Blitz. And it always looks like it's a bit of a pressure cooker. What do people not know about being in that environment?
Sure, that's a difficult one. Because I mean, they obviously broadcast almost everything. You know,
Yes.
like they're on TV.
I mean, we're looking there.
There's cameras, there's people that spot them everywhere.
Yeah.
Most of the time they're in kit. You know, so people see them everywhere. Even if you're not in kit and you walk somewhere, any country in the world, people know you at the box. You know, they know you. They know who you are. So yeah, I don't think there's anything that people don't really know. You know, like because obviously most of the stuff is out there. I think they try and be as transparent as possible as well with regards to that. And then guys have social media as well, so people even know where they're hanging out on their off days. So I don't think there's much that you can hide when you're there.
But what is that visibility and that level of attention and pressure like when you're in the middle of it?
I think obviously when it's going well, you know, it's amazing to be a part of that. I think sometimes when the chips are a bit down, you know, it becomes a bit tough. Because obviously you find yourself walking somewhere and someone might be chipping a comment or stuff like that. Because obviously everyone in the world is watching, you know, and your eyes, the eyes are on us or on the guys all the time. So I think, yeah, that's probably there's a good and a bad side of it, you know, depending on obviously how well you do. So you want to make sure that you do well so that you obviously get the positive side of it. Because everyone knows that if the Springboks are doing well, the country is happy, you know, like that's the most important thing. So we obviously we're hoping and we're wishing them all the best and hope that they get the results to keep everyone happy.
You and Lionel Mapu look like, are you the besties? Is he your closest?
We're quite close. We're
You
quite
guys are
close.
quite
If I have to say who the closest person is for me, like in rugby that I've ever been with, would be my all-time favorite roommate, Howard Mnisi. Like we are very
Howard.
close. Like yeah, and we still chat now, even though I think he just signed at the Kings now.
Yes.
So I mean, we still
Still-
keep. I've got his address, everything. I can pop
Okay.
by anytime.
Just
you know, I want.
go
So,
say
like,
hi.
He's really. I mean, for me, it's just the way. Like we have the same values, you know, we see life the same way. He's a very deep person, I'm deep. You know, he introduced me to rap music in a way that I've never been introduced to it before. So, you know, like he literally searches for underground guys that no one knows, but it's all about the lyrics and the story and all, like, you know, so small things like that for me is something that I value in a friendship. So for me, Howard is my all-time favorite. Like he's my closest rugby buddy, if I can say it like that, yeah. So.
You guys at the Lions have managed to reap a lot of rewards out of the work that you've put in, despite the fact that you don't have a lot of big name players. I mean, a lot of you have become Springboks through your time at the Lions, but you really started from almost nowhere and built this massive legacy. What do you think sets the Lions apart? What is it that makes the Lions so successful against the odds?
Yeah, I think if I have to take on what started it, because I think that's the most important thing, is we were a group that came together, kind of like not backed by other unions, you know, like we were all coming from different walks of life. We all knew a struggle. And we kind of found a common ground in that, you know, and I think that's where the respect, you know, the mutual respect came from, and that's where we started like believing in each other, because no one ever did it for us. We had to kind of just believe in ourselves all the time. So we had a tight-knit group, you know, that kind of just started believing in each other, believing in the coaches, believing in the plan, and that's where we built towards, you know, and I think that was the whole catalyst for us, you know, to achieve all the stuff that we've been achieving over the last few years. And I think there's a lot more waiting. I'm very optimistic, you know, there's a lot, even with a few guys that are leaving now, there's a lot more to look forward to.
You guys are psychologically so solid. You just all seem to be so together in not only in the kind of messaging that you guys send to the outside, but the way that you approach and the demeanor. They always say most of communication is non-verbal, and you guys seem to carry yourself so similarly. Who do you attribute that to? Is there any one person? I mean, a lot of people look to Johan Ackerman, but there's quite a big backroom staff there.
Yeah, no, I think it's all the staff. I mean, we you know, the most important thing is they get to know everyone. You know, we kind of find everyone's triggers and all of that kind of stuff as well. And we don't just try and be better rugby players, you know. I think that's where it's all, you know, like coming from. We try to be better people, you know. We engage with people, and because we're a team that play to inspire, you know. For us, it's all about that relationship, you know. So for us, that's the most important thing: inspiring ourselves, our families, one another, and then from there, obviously, you know, you get the roll-on effect or roll-out effect, you know, of that. So I think that's where it all comes from, to get that groundedness, because we've never I mean, even now that you have a few guys that have big names, it's an environment where you can't really be arrogant, Like if you're arrogant, you're kind of like sifting yourself out of the system because there's no place for that at the Lions. So
That's very true.
Secret.
I've dealt with a lot of players from many unions, and you guys are all probably the most humble group there is.
No, that's a compliment. Thank you.
But I think it's a universal experience that people have. Now, we're all looking forward to the Rugby World Cup. There's about 63 days left until kickoff. Japan, though, wow, it's a different destination.
Definitely.
You've been there?
Culture shock there, definitely. They're so different, but lovely people. Really, the rugby is growing there, obviously, so people are like so excited now that the World Cup is there as well. They're going to meet some people that they've never seen ever in their lives, that they've been looking forward to meeting, because there is actually a big rugby support in Japan. But I mean, the food, the people there, like the language, like they don't really speak English, a lot of the people. So I hope the guys have their apps and stuff ready to translate, so they're going to struggle to communicate. But I mean, it's going to be an amazing experience. They're clean people, they really work hard, so it's nice to experience that culture. I think it's going to be something totally different than what the guys are used to. Some of the guys in Super Rugby obviously traveled there before, but I think if you haven't traveled there before, it's going to be quite something to experience.
Quite a culture shock.
Definitely.
I saw the best photo this morning of someone who had grown a rice paddy formation with the World Cup logo and everything in there. Just go look, I think it's on the World Rugby account. Speaking of rice and all of the crazy food that you eat in Japan, Lala is doing her best to socialize and prepare all of us for what awaits in 60 plus days. This is a closer look at sushi.
This episode of Japan 101, I'm super excited because I get to eat some delicious food. Standing here next to me is actually one of the 4 founders of sushi here in South Africa. Mia-san, arigatou gozaimasu. Thank you so much for joining us today. And like I said, he is the forefather. He's also the inventor of the fashion sandwich. How many times have you gone to a sushi store and ordered a salmon or a prawn fashion sandwich? Well, he is the reason we have them. It's actually something that's newly invented. It's actually not a traditional dish. So we're here to debunk all these interesting myths that we've had around Japanese food and, of course, the mysterious culture. So if you're ready, we're ready. Let's go. Where exactly and how exactly did it come about? How many hundreds and thousands of years ago?
Exactly date, yes, I can't say that.
Right.
All right? But already a couple 150 years back.
Okay.
And the idea is, of course, in Japan, is a rice country. And of course, island, lots of fish. And so, in that time, don't have the refrigerator.
Yes.
So how we about to preserve the food?
Okay.
That's the basic idea. Rice, fish, lots of salt, rice, and the fish, salt. That's the basic about the sushi originally.
Becoming a chef, we refer to you as sensei because it's almost like a doctorate. Not anybody can become a sushi chef. It's very difficult in Japan. Tell us about the process of becoming one.
Okay, being a sushi chef basically takes about 4 to 5 years trained. Okay, and the first year we trained actually for hygiene. And the second year, we start about how to make sushi rice. Well, here in South Africa, and wherever going to shopping, and they mention sushi rice, okay? But no such a rice, sushi rice.
There's no such thing as sushi rice, exactly.
So depends on what type of rice you use. Third year, you more concentrate for the kitchen preparation side. Okay, that is a lot, and of course in Japan, many different kind of fish. So different bone structures, and then how you filleting, and then how you preparing for that. Now you become the assistant of a sushi chef. So which meaning you can come to the counter sushi bar.
So only after your 4th year.
That's what I'm talking about, the traditional way. Right?
Wow, amazing.
Yeah.
Tell us about why we use wasabi, because I know that it's not just about the taste.
Yeah, exactly. Wasabi is, of course, not just a company with a sushi flavor. Okay, but wasabi is kill the bacteria, parasite. And so that's a very important part of sushi. Here, many local people like about the soy sauce, the wasabi dip in there, okay, and they mix together, all right? And also sushi go in there, and then ginger go on the top.
Yes,
all right?
people love to do that.
Yeah, many people do that. But if you do that, okay, in Japan, all right, sushi chef gonna be chase you out.
Yes, and thank you so much for your time.
Right, do it this way.
I am ready now
Yeah.
to get my
Hand roll.
hands dirty
Yeah, sure.
and make a hand roll.
Okay. Okay.
Yes, よろしくお願いします。はい。
I would just like to warn you that it's much harder than it looks. I tried to make braaivleis onigiri with RG Snyman and Jason Jenkins for the show.
Sure.
It's on the internet, just go look for it, the show that RG and Jason was on. And it was a mess. There was just rice everywhere. It's a disaster.
I can imagine. I still want to do it with my wife as well, because we want to make our own sushi, because we have it at least once a week.
Well, you made your own clothing line. Tell us more about Skosan Apparel.
Okay, so obviously, you know, for us, this was basically a thing where I thought, you know what, I've had this message in my mind for, I think, the last 3 years, you know, something that, I mean, for me being a faith-based man, you know, for me looking up good times or bad times, even when I score a try, you know, I'm always pointing up. So I thought, you know what, let's maybe see if we can spread this message a little bit further, maybe more effective, you know, and we started this t-shirt. We just got a t-shirt, printed the slogan, always look up on there. People started, you know, picking up on it, people started ordering it, and we kind of just did the whole EFT type of thing in the beginning because we didn't really know how it's going to work. So it's Facebook, Instagram, all of that stuff. Started picking up so much that we couldn't keep up with all of the stuff. So we're like, you know what, let's actually just start an online store, get the whole setup sorted, and now we're pushing, you know, we changed the logo a little bit. We actually got a logo designed.
Yeah.
And now we're pushing towards now getting, you know, a little bit, you know, into more fashionable stuff.
Show me the site there. What's everything there?
So this is skosanapparel.com.
Yeah.
This is obviously the website you can get it from. So if you go in, it will have a pop-up to join our newsletter. And then obviously people don't know if they join the newsletter, you get a 10% discount as well on your first sale. This is basically just explaining how it all started. My wife and I are doing the business by ourselves. And when you get to the bottom, this is the featured, you know, stuff. So obviously click on the thing. It's so easy to order your t-shirt. You select your size, you add it to the cart. You know, from there, you end up going to your cart. You put in all your details. You know, we get your stuff to you within the next maybe 3 to 5 days, depending on obviously when we have a pickup at our house. That's how easy it is for us to get it out to you, you know. But I mean, Aramax is doing our deliveries for us as well, so that's really amazing for us as well. So we know we've got a reliable company doing that for us. But for us, the most important thing for this t-shirt is obviously, or the hoodies and everything, is the message.
The message
The
behind
message
it all.
behind the thing is the most important thing. We obviously want people to wear it with pride, so we're trying to obviously be better, you know, with the way it looks and feels and all of that kind of stuff. But the message is really the most important thing.
Speaking of message, this weekend we've got a big rugby championship doubleheader this weekend coming our way. One word, All Blacks, well, 2 words, or Argentina.
I don't know.
Come
That's a tough
on,
one.
come
That's a tough
on.
one. Let's back Argentina.
Argentina at home and South Africa, Wallabies, Springbok
Obviously.
Wallabies.
We know that's
Obviously.
obvious.
The green and
Springboks.
gold.
Obvious.
Make sure you don't miss any of that rugby action coming your way. Go check out skosanapparel.com. Thank you so much for joining us, Courtnall.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
And make sure that you tune in again, same time, same place next week. And remember, always look up.
Cool. That's it.
Pollard,